Welcome to episode 73 of the Drag Drive Repeat Show presented by Summit Racing. We're going to talk about a lot of stuff tonight. One of the big topics tonight is a hardcore gasser class rules package for Rocky Mountain Race Week. That's like, I don't know, we're going to spend 15 minutes on that. Then, man, this big show. I'm telling you guys right now, big show. We've got Carl Balzer of Hidden Motorsports. He's coming on to talk about Klaus the Barbarian, their 1500 horsepower cart, dragon drives with Heads Up Hustle, and him coming back and doing all that stuff and trying to take the overall championship again there. And then all their time spent at, Cleetus and Cars, Skids for Kids USA, and No Half Sins 2024. Dude, it's going to be a big show. Let's get to it, man. If you'll hit that video, let's go.
All right, let's do it.
We're going to pack things up and hit the road and try to make it the next day.
Well, guys, again, welcome to episode 73 of the Drag Drive Repeat Show presented by Summit Racing. My name is Mike Narx. I'm the host of the show and the news, which happens on Saturday mornings. And the show, if you're watching this later, happens on Wednesday nights live right on our YouTube and Facebook channels. And my right-hand man, Mr. RHM over here, introduce yourself. Tell them what you got going on, dude.
I am Eric White. I am the co-host of both the show and the news. Each week, I feel like I'm doing something different. So a few weeks ago, I was a photographer doing pictures from Six Summer. In the last week or so, I feel like I've moved over towards the graphic design stuff. So been doing a lot of artwork and that kind of work the last week.
You mean like this? Like this artwork?
That would be one of them that I have done in the past week.
PowerTube TV, y'all. We can't do this without them. We post exclusive content over there. So PowerTube TV is your ultimate destination for automotive entertainment. Enjoy an unparalleled streaming experience on the 100% free web-based site, Roku or mobile apps. You can also watch on Android, Fire, and Apple TV. So we're excited to partner with PowerTube because they were created by enthusiasts for enthusiasts. You can find a bunch of I would say not vintage shows, but original content like Pinks and Pinks All Out and Pastime, alongside a lot of new and original content from us and a ton of other content creators. And so PowerTube TV is more than a streaming platform. It really is a community. They have Facebook pages for all the stuff. They help us grow in a lot of that way. So if you want to find out more, you can watch powertubetv.com or follow them on all the social media apps. They post a lot on Facebook and YouTube.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man. I feel like I ran through a lot there. Let's talk about this new WAP racing piece, man.
Yeah, this is
carburetor
pretty cool.
guy. Yeah. I feel like this is great for the guys that are carburetor guys. Keep carbs alive, KTA. This is a big deal. This is a stacker or stabilizer work bench area thing for your carburetor. Right now, obviously set up for 4150 and 4550 carbs. This is a cool deal, and it just shows their brain is always working.
Correct.
Chris was on talking about all the stuff they've done and talk about all the cars they build and have fun with and all that. And this I'm sure came from somebody having an entire shelf of a single layer of carburetors, and they're like, you know what? If you put 2 of these, we could have more shelf space.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, this is pretty neat. I'm excited about this. And again, they're keeping carburetors alive, man. Keep it going. So if you guys want to see this and all the other products that WAF Racing creates, again, one of our sponsors, WAF.racing or WAF-racing, or WAFracing.com. Pretty awesome.
Yep, I'm
Pretty
excited to see what other kind of stuff that they end up coming up with. So, between them and Car Change 3D, I mean, we are getting new products released all the time, which is
Oh man,
awesome. This is all stuff that's,
yeah,
going to benefit the community, and there are a lot of car racers out there still. So these kind of products are definitely going to be beneficial.
yeah, that's for sure. And again, this will work on the throttle body type stuff as well because it's based on the intake uh, mount of it. So pretty cool. Well, let's move to Howard's cams because we've got a lot to cover here. And then if Carl is still watching from the backstage, we'll be ready for him in about 15, or not from the backstage, from the road. They're working on stuff. We'll be ready for him in, I would say, 15 or 20 minutes, something like that. So he wants to find him a spot to kind of gather up.
All right, I'm gonna hit this video for Howard's cam, and then we'll get to it.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Harris from the Monoxide Podcast. Real quick, Howard's Cams was founded as a racing cam manufacturer almost 80 years ago when Howard Johansson created Howard's Power and Racing Equipment in 1945. Howard's Cams has always used on-track experience to design the most powerful designs, and today they have an even greater group of experienced racers in circle track, drag racing, road race, mud bog, and marine. They use all this input plus the most advanced computer software to design the most competitive race-winning products. From pioneers in drag racing and oval track to cutting-edge marine development, Howard's Cams is at the forefront of the industry. So make sure to reach out to our friend, Luke B, for your next valve train upgrade.
All right. Yes. Howard's Cams is awesome. Luke B is awesome. I love talking to that guy. Reggie Moore. I'm a carb guy. I know that's right. He is one of the coolest hot rods that is out there in the Oregon grinder. All right, let's talk about non-carbureted stuff. Well, carbureted stuff right now, but is going to EFI. Mr. Graham Hayes, the overall winner of Midwest Drags, was talking to Jesse Fox in one of Jesse's 3G video coverage of Midwest Drags. If you haven't watched that, you need to. 3G video is awesome. He goes to more events than I think anybody out there, and has a great way about interviewing folks as he's going along. So 3G video on YouTube and Facebook and all that. But Graham, just ever so under his breath, said that Drag Week 2024 is going to be the last time that the gray car has a nitrous setup in it.
Wow.
Which is pretty wild. This is a low 7-second car. This car in 720s on Midwest Drags. I mean, this car's really, really fast. They are some of the like from the Carolina area. I don't know exactly, Carolina, Virginia, something like that. And these guys go real fast. They've got a purple one that's the same body style. I think they're 67s, both of them. Big block, nitrous, fast cars. One of them's on big floppy tires. One of them's on radials. These cars move out. So when I heard that, immediately I thought, man, I got a message. I got to know what he's going to, in hopes that he's going to a turbo because, I'm kind of a turbo guy. I enjoy that stuff a lot. And he is going to turbos. He's going to twins on a 540-inch big block. So that's going to be awesome.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's going to be cool.
Yeah. He said the purple car will stay a nitrous car. And so they will have that 7-second nitrous car and this, hopefully low 7, high 6-second turbo car. Oh,
Jared said tried convincing Sharon to put zoomies on her car and make it look like yours. She wasn't having it.
Yeah. We wish that would happen too. Zoomies on a CTSV would be awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing. I'm excited to see Graham take that next step because this will be, an all new learning process for them to learn big turbos and big cubic inch stuff. I mean, that's got to be a setup that's capable of 2,500 or 3,000 horsepower, I would think.
I would imagine.
Yeah. So bring it on. That's exciting. Well, let's talk about one of the biggest changes. Let's talk about one of the biggest changes. Major gasser class updates for Rocky Mountain Race Week.
This has been a topic that came up a lot lately on the RMRWers page for sure.
Yeah, this is a great conversation, and I love it when promoters that have been doing events for 10 years are willing to listen to the people and really take I'm not going to say advice, but take comments and put those to use. right?
Yeah.
Which is exactly what Matt did. So we're going to run through some of this. You and I are going to have this is going to be an open conversation. We're going to talk about some of the rules here, right? 2025. This is not for 2024 2.0. This will take effect for 2025, which is in itself another major accomplishment that you're going to do this and host the biggest drag and drive ever. So the
Right.
year cutoff for cars is 1970 and older, unless it's cleared by Matt. So if you have something that fits, you want to submit it, please do. All cars and trucks with A-arm suspension must have a raised front end of a minimum of 3 inches. All cars and trucks with a straight axle need to have a raised front end minimum of 2 inches. So you got to have that look. You got to have that kind of, you got to have that rake. The front of the car has to be raised X inches higher than the rear of the car. If you're not sure, raise it higher. Literally in the rules. I love it. It said the exception is if the whole vehicle has been raised equally and has the right look. So the look is tire sticking out of the quarter in the rear and skinnies up front. Again, this is going to be there's a lot of interpretation of what a gasser is. And if you have a question, you can always send it to Matt Frost, Matthew E. Frost on Facebook and ask, or join the RMRWERS page, Rocky Mountain Race Weekers Facebook group to ask your questions in there. Steer tires. This is where we get into kind of the meat of what we're going to talk about. So steer tires must be 6 inches or less. So it's got to have skinnies on the front. No modern wheels or bead locks. I like that. Okay. They didn't have bead locks back in 1970, so you can't have bead locks now. No wings, unless you are the Winged Express, which I don't think was a like a street gasser. Slicks only on the rear, no radials. It's kind of a
Okay.
cool because, like, again, they're really trying to be period correct. So in the times and stuff that I've spent with Southeast Gassers, that's always their biggest thing is like, was it available? Their cutoff is 1967. Was it available in 1967? If it was, then you can run it. If it wasn't, you can't. So now
Yeah.
they allow a little newer transmission stuff because you're not going to see that, and it's going to make the
Yeah.
car more reliable.
Yeah. So then
Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, then after that, we've got those are all the rules. And now is where we get into you've
Yeah,
got to have, I'll just go ahead and read it. How about that? It makes it
yeah,
a little
do
easier.
it.
So, in addition to everything that we just talked about, you must have 4 of the following bullet points here. So, old school intake, carb style flange, tunnel ram, blower, stacked injection, no plastic intakes, and if you have the normal LS intake, then you must have 5 of the items on this list. Okay.
Yeah, so he's not opposed to late model engine stuff, which I always have liked about Matt's hot rod and gasser class. But now he like if you're going to have a gasser, it's going to look the part for sure.
Yeah. So old school paint, this can be stressed, weathered, lace accented, or sun rays, panel painted. Do your research to see what they did pre 1970s.
Yeah, so not only are they going to have the stance now, they're going to have the paint look. It says a car name on the quarter or door, 60s cool school lettering, and old school decals of manufacturers can be current manufacturers if they have a classic look. I like that too.
Yep. Color tinted glass. I thought this one was interesting.
Yeah,
Now,
I love that.
again, these aren't requirements. Now, you have to have 4 of these, or
Yeah.
unless you have an LS intake, you have to have 5. So, not
Yep.
saying that you have to go out and tint your windows a certain color, but again, this is one of the things that you can have on that list.
Yep. So color tinted glass fender well headers. Love that. Gotta get that noise out. And manual transmission doesn't stipulate what it has to be. There's no gear number or anything like that. So again, manual transmissions on there. What's up next?
Old school looking ladder bars or the early fixed traction bars. Cutouts or modified or cut or modified quarters tires protruding from the well.
Yeah. So again, gotta have the look. Gotta have the look. And then
Yep.
front runners are 4 inches or less. So that's your race tire. Going to have to be 4 inches or less because those are tiny, tiny. And then you have to have a distributor, no EFI.
Yep. And then the last
Or
thing,
no, sorry, no coil on plug. You can have EFI. Yeah, distributor. Yeah.
on the list, again, not requirements, but one of these is the moon tank, which is probably one of my favorite things for a gasser.
Yeah, man. Again, I think you have to go back to that look. Like that's what you want. And that's what he's going for, right? Because they had some people, I think maybe I'm not going to say complain, but had some people have some conversations about that. Hey, we want a little more traditional setup. And as the gasser craze continues to grow, you got to kind of feed into that a little bit. He did have some power adder limitations, so you and I can alternate through this, but blower 871 or smaller. So again, that look of a big blower up top. So you are able to have power adders, which means he's going to do 2 classes. He'll have an NA class and a power adder class.
Yep. And then for twin turbo, 76 or smaller.
Yep, and then you can do a big single, an 80 millimeter or smaller single turbo setup.
Yep. Or a nitrous single plate. So
Yeah,
no
and then,
multi-plate kits.
yep, or stages or anything like that. And again, I doubt they had direct port nitrous in 1968, 1969, so they would have put it on a plate. So again, you want that look that goes in there and all that. So this is going to be really cool. So he says the ideas here is to make these cars look as they did back then. There were so many cool parts of the culture and these era cars. I challenge you to not have just what's required, but have fun and do all of them, or as many as you can. Again, what we just went through, you have to have, if you are non-LS, you have to have 4 of these things. If you have the normal LS intake, aluminum, I don't know what that means because like the factory LS intake is generally I would think it would not be acceptable on that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it says
it
no plastic intake. So I'm assuming they're talking the aluminum carb style intake.
gotcha. Okay. Yeah, yeah, like a single plane setup. Yeah. So, you know, then you have to have 5 of what we just listed there.
Which there
Um,
was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There was 10 items that we went through. So
yeah. So he's really the first person to ever do this. There's never really been anybody that's kind of said, "Hey, have some of these. You have to have some of these." It's always just been a mandatory list of stuff, and then up to the folks from there. So I just want to say this part is huge as well. The class will have 15 spots that will not need to do regular sign up. Once they are filled, you will need to try and sign up during the regular registration. So, uh, 15 spots are guaranteed. Okay. For your gasser friends, please tag them either in this video or in the rules package post or whatever. This is a huge deal for gassers. Those
yeah,
those guys in hot rod and gasser class typically kind of get left out. There's 5 or 6 cars in that. Matt is willing to put it on the line and lay out huge rule stipulation here if you guys are going to get in and play nicely with each other. This is going to be kind of fun to watch.
yeah, yeah. I've always thought they were a cool class. I mean, they
Yeah.
have that old school look, and it
Yep.
makes you feel like you're at a drag strip back in the 70s. It's cool to
Yep.
see.
Yep. And he said cars that check all the boxes will get first choice at the spots. He said you'll need to send me a picture of the car or get one of those spots. Yeah, sorry. So send a picture of the car to get one of those 15 spots that are available.
Yeah. So if you have everything on that list, which I can think of a few cars that come to mind that have
Yeah.
most, if not all of those things.
Yep. Yeah, that's exactly right.
So if you think you have a car that fits that class that isn't what we've listed, but think it would have fit in the day, send him a picture and your argument. The worst he can say is no.
Yeah, I like the send me a picture and your argument. I think that's cool. That's a good way to put it. If you want in, you're gonna have to tell him why. So he said, let's get this class filled up and put on a show that could be the coolest class at the event. Big burnouts, wheelies, cool ass cars. Doesn't get much better than this.
Yes. Yeah. So that's
Yeah.
awesome. Reggie Moore here says, I think this is really going to build the class. Super smart on Matt's part.
Yeah, for sure. And he said this is the most regulated class at Race Week, but for all the right reasons.
Yep, that is going to be awesome. That's definitely going to be cool to see.
Yeah. Yeah, that's for sure. Well, I don't see Carl in here just yet. I'm going to send him a message, but let's let's talk about some of the crazy stuff that's coming, because one thing we haven't done in a while is gone over the upcoming drag and drive. So if you want to pull up the dragandrive.com/event list, let's run through some of the events. Obviously, starting on the 21st, we have Miles of Mayhem, which is going to be awesome. I'm really pumped about that event and what it can bring to Canada. We've had a few events in Canada already this year, but this one's the big one. This one's the 200 plus cars, all that kind of stuff.
Yep. So it looks like next up on the list, actually starting um, on Friday, is going to be Road Trip Drag Challenge number 2.
Yep. Yeah. So they have done a really good job. Again, that's another 150, 200 car event in Australia. And the team over there has done awesome. Mick Apps is his name. And he's been on the show with us in the past. I think he actually did one of the news episodes with us because it was morning time over there compared to afternoon time for us or something like that. So
Right.
that's the Road Trip Drag Challenge number 2. Of course, they're doing 3 or 4 events this year in Australia. So they're part of the 7 or 8 events that are over there for this year. And then of course, Miles of Mayhem, gonna be huge, man. I'm telling you, that event is in its 4th or 5th year now. Miles of Mayhem is gonna be awesome. Saskatoon, they are driving, I think there's like 1,100 miles or something like that that they'll cover with 200 race car friends. And then
Yeah.
of course, yeah, next weekend, dude.
Yep.
Next
Then
when
head
you say
then
next week, it's crazy to think that, I'll be driving to Detroit on next Wednesday.
yeah, Heads Up Hustle, your first full-blown announcing gig, man. How cool is
Yeah.
that?
Dude, I'm so ready. I've been, brushing up and listening to some of the Adam Dory. I've been listening to some of the past live streams and, you know, it's funny, the hardest part is I say excited, I say pumped, I say awesome a lot. You don't wanna do that if you're gonna be on the mic for 4 hours in front of people. You don't wanna say the same 3 words. So I've been trying to work through, Ray at PowerTube TV tells me all the time, "Slow down when I'm talking."
Yes.
1, it'll take more time, but then 2, he's like, "People wanna hear what you have to say." So I need to keep that in mind while I'm up there and all nervous and everything like that. So,
Yep. So
yeah.
then that actually rounds out the month of July. And then first beginning of August, we've got the NYS, the New York State Drag and Drive at Skyview Drags, August 2nd through 4th. So this is their first time doing that event. So that's gonna be pretty cool.
Yep, and one of their main hosts, promoters, Cameron, I don't know how to say his last name, starts on the M, and he was posting the other day that they're ready to do this. They've learned a ton in the few months that they've been promoting this event, and that 2025 is going to be even better than the 2024 event. So they're getting ready. They're pumped for this thing.
Yeah, and then also the same weekend as the NYS Drag and Drive, we have King of the Open Road, which their host track's going to be Thunder Valley, and that again is also August 2nd through 4th.
Yeah, and that's right there in Oklahoma City. I wish I could do this event. I just, with all the travel and stuff we have going on, that's one of my only weekends that I will have available for any time in the next like 8 weeks, starting the first part of August. But King of the Open Road, again, 200 cars minimum on that one. I think they're probably sold out already. If they're not, you need to get into it. But it's the only drag and drive that does roll racing as well.
Right,
It's
right.
kind of cool. They go on a big drive on Friday. It's crazy. It seems like when they rescheduled that from, was it April? I think it was, yeah, it was going to be the week after the circuit. So when they rescheduled that to August, it felt like, man, that was so far away. And now here we are right on top of it again. So it's
Right.
pretty good. And I know that Jared is ready to host this thing. They've hosted monthly events since then and they've all done well. And I know he loves drag and drive and he's ready to get down to it. So yeah, Thunder Valley, Oklahoma City, you got to get over there and see it.
Yep. Then we've got Road Trip Drag Challenge number 5, August 12th through 6th. We've got Texas Cruise and Chill, which this is going to be their first event, right? Texas Motorplex, August 16th and 17th.
Yep. Yeah, and I want to go back to the 5-day. They did actually cancel this because they couldn't get enough people signed up for the 5-day. I need to take that down off the website. My apologies about that. But yeah, Texas Cruise and Chill, August 16th through 17th at the Texas Motorplex.
Yep, and then the last two events that round out August is Nostalgia Nights at Wabash Valley Dragway in Terre Haute, Indiana, August 15th through 17th, and Dragway Rush at Grand Bend Motorplex in Ontario, Canada, August 23rd and 24th, and that rounds out the end of August.
Yeah, so Dragway Rush, this is their first year, and it's the first one in Canada on that side of Canada. They've all been kind of Western Canada. This is the first Eastern Canada event. This is going to be a big deal, and we're excited for them to do that. Well, I see Carl is here in the back, so let's talk to him because, dude, you've been driving like a maniac. Let's talk about where you're going and all that kind of fun stuff.
Yeah, right now we're heading to Stafford Speedway in Connecticut for the Cleetus and Cars. We got Burnout Rivals going on, and then the Big Crown Vic race that you guys have seen everywhere. It's absolutely awesome. We're about an hour from the track right now. I'm actually in the race trailer. You can see we got here. I'm sitting on him because I'm somewhere in the mountains. It's like thunderstorming. It's dark. No idea where I'm at, but found a rest stop so we can do this.
Well, man, I'm glad you did. I appreciate you going through that, dude. You struggled. Let's talk about your struggles. You guys got a little later start, and then you had a tire change. What happened?
Yeah, it's some weird luck the last couple of days. Klaus was acting funky yesterday. We got that figured out. Today there was some stuff at home with the dogs. Kind of woke up to some messes. That pushed a delay. We had truck tire blowouts. We had trailer tire blowouts. Truck's running a little weird right now. We're having a blast, if you can see it in the face.
Yeah, drag and drive life, baby. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Oh, hey, that's us.
So I've pulled up a couple pictures. I figured we'd run through those while you're kind of telling us some stuff. So what is Hidden Motorsports, man?
Yeah, so we started about 6 years ago, working on BMWs on the side out of our garages. It got to be big enough where we were getting booked out like months at a time. And then last year, me and my two other business partners, Brandon and Chris, we decided to just open up a shop. So out here in Maumee, Ohio, we have Hidden Motorsports opened up as of January last year. And then by the summertime, we all quit our, I guess you could say, big kid jobs or whatever to pursue this career. And it's great because we work twice as long for half as much money. So business owner life is great.
Yeah. But hey, listen, there's nothing like super late nights, getting no sleep, and the added stress of working for yourself to work for yourself.
Yeah, we love it. So we specialize in BMWs and Europeans from basic maintenance all the way up to high-end custom builds. But then, of course, we do all Chevys, Fords, Dodge, GMs. We do everything everything. So yeah, basic oil changes all the way up to we have $100,000 custom builds. Few Lamborghinis in here, few high-end vehicles, and it's a lot of fun for the most part. It's business owner life. It's stressful, but still, I don't ever want to go back to working for someone else again.
Yeah, especially building cars for and sticking to a regular schedule. Like I want to build cars that I want to build.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, you get some stuff that you don't want to do, but that's your bread and butter, pays the bills, and then a lot of the custom builds are fun. So it's really nice when someone writes you a nice check and says, "I want this, make it happen." I'm like, "You got it."
Yep. We'll do it. Well, that's really fun. Well, tell us about Klaus the Barbarian because that is hang on. I don't have any pictures of Klaus.
See if we can show you a little bit.
Yeah.
So, yes, Klaus is a 1,500 horsepower LS swapped BMW. We now have a 7.1 liter, 434 cubic inch LS by Texas Speed. Twin 78 millimeter turbos, Granis Racing T56 Magnum, angle kit, parachute, trailer hitch. So it does drag racing, burnout competitions, drift competitions, as well as drag and drive. And it's fully street legal. Like we literally during the day, if the parts delivery guys are too busy, this is the parts truck. It drives around everywhere, does it all.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Well,
Now this is
good.
this is V2, right? If I remember right, because the one you had before got wrecked,
Ye-
correct?
Yeah, so we built the car 4 years ago, actually, right before COVID started. I was like, oh, hey, I want to do this junkyard. We had a 95 BMW. I was like, I want to cut it up and make it like a Lemons car, that off-roading stuff. And then it kind of snowballed really hard. So we built it through COVID. And then 2 years later, driving on the street, this girl just pulled directly out in front of me, ended up rear-ending her, and it crumpled in the strut tire, basically totaled out the car. And then we had a fan say, hey, I have the same exact car. If you want it, come pick it up. So we basically did a swap, engine swap, everything, and made it V2 and changed a bunch of things. Because, if you ever built a car, everyone said, man, if I ever did this again, I would do it this way. So then we did it that way. And the car has gone from like a joke eBay build to high-end parts, and it can do just about everything.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. Well, 1,500 horsepower. What's it weigh? I mean, 2,800 pounds?
No, it's actually 3,240 without me. The cage alone weighs just over 1,000 pounds.
That's awesome.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
He's a heavy boy, but it's actually really nice because late night Mexico racing on the streets, it's 51% distribution in the rear, so it squats and hooks almost all the time.
Yeah, it works. That's awesome. So let's talk about doing some drag racing because you dominated Heads Up Hustle last year. Are you coming back this year? Are you gonna get some? You gonna give people something to chase?
Oh yeah, so absolutely. We have the Cleetus and Cars event, the burnout contest Saturday, and while we were driving, there's a place called Indian Drift Pit that we passed on the way here. They reached out to us and said, hey, Sunday's the track yours if you want to do something. So we're going to do some drifting there. And then Thursday we got to prep because we have Heads Up Hustle Friday, Saturday, and Sunday next week, which that goes, sorry, brain fart, from Milan, not US 31.
Mid-Michigan.
Mid-Michigan, yes, and then back to Milan. And that's going to be fun. Last year's Heads Up Hustle was my first ever drag and drive. And they've convinced me that literally the most fun you can have is drag and drive. Like there's other burnout competitors or strictly 8th mile competitors, even drift guys that have now gone on drag and drive events. And they're like, this is way more fun. And I'm like, I know, it's drag and drives are like my new favorite thing. This is what we do. And Klaus will be hauling the Ernest Brew Works. It's a 2,000-pound beer concession trailer. It fits 4 kegs in it. So we throw all of our tools inside with that. And last year we didn't bring any beverages. This year we might toss one in there for, after racing hangout.
Yeah.
I knew I liked you.
It'll be fun. Yeah, I love it. So last year we first ever drag and drive. You see everyone's really competitive, really fast, and with events, I guess I'm a bad racer because I don't ever look at anything as winning. I go to events and say, hey, I'm not going to win anything. I just like doing this, and that's how I've always lived. Last year, we actually won stick shift class, which was awesome. And then the winners of each class, we did just like a runoff or whatever, just a heads up race, like, hey, this is going to be for overall. And we won that. And the guy we went up against is about 1.5 seconds faster than us. I was like, I'll give it the beans and see what we can do. And he red lit by a lot. And I was like, oh, well, not wanted to win, but I'll take it.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, if he's got you covered about that much, man, he could have laid back some.
I can, but I have my 2-step set up extremely aggressive. So like people flying are like, all I hear is your car just freaking out next to me. And maybe that's why he let go of the button early. I don't know.
Yeah, I like it. I knew I liked that. That's far one of the best ways to do that. So Heads Up Hustle this year, it also ends on a really cool day. So why don't you tell us about, so we're going to do Heads Up Hustle the morning at Milan and lock up all the classes and stuff. And then you have this no half sins. What is this thing?
Yeah, so this is actually something we started in 2020 as well at in Norwalk, Ohio, at Summit Motorsports Park. That's where I'm from. No Half Sends is kind of like an all-day car party, I guess if you can call that. So we are going to have drag racing, roll racing. By the end of the day, kids can do Power Wheels racing. We will have a massive car show. We have bouncy houses coming in. There's 3 massive bouncy houses. During the day, the drag racing and the big pit area will be drift event. There's a full drift event going on. And then everything is stopping by 5, and we're rolling into the Australian style burnout competition to end off the day. And this is just something, yeah, we just wanted to do it because, Cleetus McFarland has all of his events like we're traveling to, but they're always long distance for us northern people. So I'm trying to bring something like that closer, but not just burnouts, because I like doing everything. You got people that are strictly, I'm a drag racer, that's it, or I'm a drifter, that's it. Me, I do everything. So I want an event, even like for spectators. Say you go, oh, I'm watching drag racing for half hour. Okay, I'm bored of that. Oh, hey, let's go look at the car show for a little bit. Oh, hey, that drifting was cool. Let's go over there. Hey, let's go do bouncy houses. Like, it's an all-day event. There's something you're gonna like there, I hope.
Yeah, that's super cool.
Yeah, Milan is a great track for that too, because they have like the huge parking area. There's like the drift. Will it be down at the end of the track? There's like this kind of curvy road down towards the end of the track. Will it be down there as well?
Yeah, so they do. They actually have an all asphalt skid pad. We measured it out. It's 420 feet by 250 feet. And we're actually going to use all of that for the burnout competition. And at least to my knowledge, it's the biggest one I've ever seen or been to, because most of the guys are doing 60 to 80 mile per hour tip-ins, like the pro guys. And I was already telling my friends, the rest of Skids for Kids and everyone else, I was like, with the pad this big, it's also a 100-foot entry chute. I'm like, I want everyone hitting triple-digit entry speeds, doing 720s as you're tipping in.
Oh,
Nice.
This is going to be awesome. This is going to be awesome.
Yeah,
and what'll be really fun is like all of the race car friends that'll finish the drag and drive event. I mean, talk about a show to end it off with, man. I mean, like they're gonna have a blast doing the weekend of Heads Up Hustle, and then they're gonna literally pull in the parking lot, and all of this is gonna be going on. It's gonna be nuts, man.
So I partnered up with John Paul, who is doing the Heads Up Hustle. He's the one that started it and putting it on. And I just wanted to give back and help more. So we have a discount code that any Heads Up Hustle competitor can email me, like their proof that they are a competitor. They get 50% off all tech cards and spectator tickets for the No Half Sends event as well. So I'm like, your car's already there. It's already going on. Oh, also, in the middle, right before the burnout contest, we have a $1,500 street car shootout, which is going to be pretty awesome. And people are like, well, what qualifies as a street car? I'm like, can you do a drag and drive event? It's going to be like at our discretion, but I'm like, it's basically rules. So we'll have a nice big shootout. The burnout competition will have $300 to the winner, just because it's really Hidden Motorsports putting on the event. So I don't have big name sponsors. This is all kind of like out of our pocket. You can see our sponsors on the flyers. They are doing different stuff like supplying trophies. Then you got Flawless Finishing for the car show. They're giving away a $1,500 paint correction and ceramic pro for their overall. Wow. So yes, all the sponsors are helping out with like the main. I'd love to, I have some friends that have like a podcast and stuff, and they have Summit Racing sponsoring them. So that would be really cool to do stuff like that.
Yeah, we can get you in contact with some people.
It's going to be a real fun time. I'm hoping.
Yeah.
Car and everyone else's car can make it through this weekend, the drag and drive, and then roll into it. I know my car is going to be pretty tired by the time our event starts, but that's what it's built for. It's going to break. It's already had some issues already. I have some clutch/transmission issues at the moment, but we're just going to pretend they don't exist and see if it goes away.
That's awesome.
I love the concept of the No Half Sends. I think you're spot on with with doing all of those motorsports events at once. I think that's a great idea. And again, you're doing it up kind of not far from me. So I like that a whole
Yep.
lot.
Yeah. Yeah, we're like, that's kind of like our motto is no half cents. It's kind of our take on go big or go home. Burnout guys, we have a rule between us. We say engines or tires. You don't leave the pad till one of those things blows up. One of them's cheaper than the other, but if you're gonna go do something, just go out and do it big. There's no point of like, oh, out there, I'm gonna do a little donut and leave. No, go out there, you blow the tires, put on a show, do something. If you're gonna do it, just go big and do it.
Right.
Yeah, that's right. Well, tell us about this truck fan thing here. What is this?
So that truck is called Frosty. That is actually Seth Kavanaugh's. He's part of Hidden Motorsports with us, but lives in Wyoming, so he's not on the channel as much. So he built that as his new burnout vehicle. He used to have the Liberty wagon. It was this American flag long wagon that did all the burnouts. And then, over the winter, he built this in just a couple months, really. It was like 2 months out in Wyoming, basically by himself. Don't tell him, but he's pretty talented and really good at what he does. And I think I think he's going to correct me, but I think it's a 540 big block on methanol, 2-speed, and it's like 650 or 640 horsepower. Like, it rips. He's already won like all the smaller style burnout competitions he's went to. Just put on a charity event a couple of days ago where I think he said he raised almost like $10,000 or more. Like, real good guy. Don't tell him I said that though.
we won't. We got, we don't want to give him a complex,
I know his head's already big enough.
That's awesome.
So, how many events do you go to a year? So right now you're on your way to Cleetus and Cars. Then you're gonna go to Heads Up Hustle next weekend and No Half Cents.
Oh, there we go.
I think you'll have to ask again, Eric.
Yep, sorry, I didn't hear that. Oh, there.
So events per year. How many events do you think that you go to per year with going to Cleetus and Cars and like Heads Up Hustle? What do you have a rough idea on how many you attend per year?
Man, major events, probably 10 to 15 major events. And then we sprinkle in side shows, track days, little stuff that just pops up. Because I'm always just game. Someone's like, hey, tomorrow this is going on. You want to do it? I'm like, let me check with the wife. Yep, we're good. I'll see you there. And it's literally, I'm asking like this car to do too much. That's why it needs a lot of work here and there. But because I hear people, they're like, oh yeah, my engine's good for 30 passes. I'm like, that's depressing to me. Like, last year's Heads Up Hustle, I didn't have my pro license. So the very first day I did like all my passes. So I had to take like 9 passes, got them signed off. We did a couple more before that, did drifting after that. I'm like, I just did 30 passes in 2 days. Like, I would be highly upset if that's all my engine's good for.
Right.
But I guess make it over 2,500 horsepower. I guess that's to be expected on those cars.
Yeah. How many of the No Half Cents events do you put on?
We just do 1 a year for right now. I want to get it big enough to where we can do 2 a year, maybe 3 a year. We might end up changing the name or something, but yeah, just like all day parties, want everyone to show up, have fun, something for everyone to do. Try to keep stuff off the streets for the most time. Like those takeover kids, we're not about that life. We like to do it a lot.
Well, and hosting an event like that is really a lot of work. Like, because not only are you trying to find drag racers, you're trying to find drifters, you're trying to find burnout people, you're trying to find everybody.
Yeah, so luckily with the sponsors, there's a lot of help. So we're kind of handling the drag racing portion of it. Then, I guess also the burnout portion of it as well. And then Flawless Finishing is handling the car show portion of it. And then we have Evan Sunday. He's handling kind of like the drift portion of this, just simply because I can't be in 6 spots at once. And not only is it like I'm hosting it and putting on the event with the rest of the team, I'm competing in it. Absolutely. I am doing the drag racing, the drifting, and the burnout competition.
Dude.
Following the finals. Like, I will be in every single thing, and I have no shame. I will win every contest at my event if I have to. I do not care. I was like, don't complain. Get better, get faster, which because the street car shootout, it's going to be the quickest 16 cars on the property, whether you're automatic, whatever, as long as you can compete in a drag and drive. So there's going to be guys, and they're going to knock me out real quick. I'm sure of it. But I have no shame in winning my own event because our trophies that we have are WWF wrestling belts that are personalized, engraved with huge things. I'm like, I actually really want this. Oh yeah, see, Andy's holding it in that picture. They're awesome. I want one.
Yeah, they're super cool.
Yeah, it'll be a fun time. It's going to be stressful because we got the 3 days heads up hustle, the finals of, and while doing all that, we need to organize the event and make sure it's going off without a hitch. So I'll have some more gray hair in a couple weeks, but I'm sure we'll get through it.
Yeah,
It'll be fine
for sure.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
So what's up next for you guys after Cleetus and Cars, after Heads Up Hustle? You finish No Half Sends. Like, do you guys got more events going on? Are you taking a little bit of a break? What's your plan?
No, there's supposed to be another little drift event following weekend. Then the weekend after that is Tom Bailey's Sick Power Fest, which will be set up at, and then, of course, entering the burnout competition there as well. I think he's putting up $25,000 split between the two classes. So there's some big money going now because everyone's like, oh, a burnout contest. I've seen that. You just sit in one spot and do a burnout. I'm like, no, it's not how it is. And then I show them videos.
Right.
They're like, what the heck? I was like, yeah, way different. Yeah, thanks to the Australians. They're the ones that are like really helping it go a lot bigger. We actually have a few that are at our shop right now. They're building a pro style ute in the shop. I don't think we had a couple pictures kind of on the down low a little bit. There's all kinds of cool stuff that's happening. It's behind the scenes. Things are going to get a lot bigger, and I'm just happy. Like, everyone's cars are leveling up. It's gone from 4 years ago, just people in Camaros doing burnouts at these Cleetus events, to where everyone's building $50,000 plus. Big cubic inch motors, big blowers, methanol, two-speed power glide. That's kind of like the LS Fox body combo of the burnout world.
Yeah.
Nice.
So it works. It'll be a lot of fun. I'm excited just to see the sport growing. My car will personally, I don't think, ever win like in the pro, just because stick shift and turbos is what you don't want for doing a burnout, because I got to shift through the gears instead of just stomping on the gas and going. And then if I lose RPMs a little bit, the turbos stall out, but it's fun. I have a lot of fun.
Yeah, but again,
and that's the other thing too, like wheel speed. You need wheel speed. So like an automatic, it gets you there, it's easier. But like a stick, you've got to get to like fourth or fifth gear to get that 120 mile an hour wheel speed.
So the top of fourth gear for me is about 170. And that's kind of like the pro level. Australian guys are closer to 200 miles per hour. But to compete, you need to be over 150, because we like to give each other crap that you better go out on brand new tires, and it takes 170 miles per hour to pop a brand new set of tires in under 2 minutes. It depends on the surface. Concrete's a little more slick, and it'll take that full time. If it's fresh asphalt, you're going to struggle to pop them or to even go over a minute, because asphalt will chew up your tires.
That's wild. But it kind of goes back to like what you said, though. Your car can do a drag and drive. It can go drifting. It can do the burnout contest. It can street drive, to where, you know, those all-out burnout cars aren't doing all those same things that you get to go out and do.
That's my big thing. I've told everyone, they're like, put an auto in it for drag racing. Put an auto in for this. I'm just like, no, I will never do that, because I have so much more fun driving the car around. And some of my other friends have detuned their cars or changed them to where they're driving on the street, and they're like, I'm having fun now. Because if you're only getting out your car once every other weekend to go racing, you go out first round, those guys are like in bad moods all the time, and that's not what I'm about. I'm about driving. Like the Australians that came over here, they've been driving their big blower cars on the U.S. streets, especially in Toledo. Cops are very lenient. You're not doing anything wrong. They're never going to pull you over. And they're like, if we did this in Australia, our cars would literally be crushed because Australia, everything's illegal. You can't modify exhaust. You can't do anything over there. So they were like, I asked them, I was like, so if I drove my car on the streets, they were like, no joke, you would be arrested for months and your cars would be crushed. I was like, wow.
Wow.
That's intense. Well, man, let's let you get back on the road. Thank you so much for pulling over. Thank you so much for doing this again, guys. Carl at Hidden Motorsports. Tell them where you post the most, but where they can find you.
Actually, probably my personal Facebook account. It's more public, so you can just look up Carl Balzer. We got Hidden Motorsports on Facebook. Our YouTube channel, Hidden Motorsports. We used to post like once a week. It's been a little bit less with how crazy the shop has been. But the YouTube channel's been taken off. You can go hiddenmotorsports.com. We have like 10 different t-shirts that you guys would love, hats, hoodies. Got a little bit of everything. Just follow us, show some support, and that way we can keep doing bigger events and doing crazier things. The more we can get the word out, get people interested in us, the more we can put on bigger events and just do crazier things.
Yeah, that's right, dude.
That's
well, thank you
awesome.
so much for your time tonight, man. I appreciate it a bunch.
Awesome. Thank you for having me, guys.
Yeah.
All right, man. We'll see you soon.
Yep, we'll see you.
See ya.
Bye.
Like I'll see him next weekend.
I was gonna say, yeah, you will.
He's gonna be at Heads Up Hustle.
Which is funny because all three of us were together at this event that he's on his way to. Was it 3 years
Oh,
ago?
yeah.
4 years ago now? That's.
Yeah.
I mean, we were all
Um,
at Cleetus and Cars Indy. I don't remember.
I think that was
Was it
in
20?
May. So yeah,
2021.
2021, I think maybe something like that. That was the year. It had to be 21 because we put like 10,000 miles on the cart that year. We drove it to Indy from here. It was like a 900-mile trip.
Yeah.
Maybe more, maybe 800 miles one way or something like that.
It was the only time I ever rode in the cart.
Yeah. Well, listen,
leave it in the Airbnb.
Yeah. That was a blast. And really, a huge shout out to Carl and the team at Hidden Motorsports, because without them, like back then, Cleetus wasn't as advanced as he is now. He wasn't as good at putting on events. So I purchased a ticket thinking it was like a pit parking pass so I could get in with the cool kids. Turns out it wasn't, but I didn't know that till like 2 days before, and ended up paying like $300 and something for a ticket for Steven to get in, and like another $50 for the cart to park in the grass. And so the plan was the whole time that I would park by Carl and them. We pull in, they're like, no, you've got to park in the grass. You can't park over here. So I run over to him. I'm like, dude, I know you don't know me. We've only talked through Messenger. Please, can I park up here? It's the whole reason I drove this car. I think it was 800 miles to Indy. It's the whole reason we drove it. He's like, yeah, no problem, man. Come on. And then of course, after we passed the one person that was the parking Nazi, it was no big deal. Nobody cared. It was like, okay, go ahead. So you guys got to park. It gave us a great location.
Yeah, we ended up parking up by you guys and grilled out some food, and man, we had a good time. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, we need to do that again. I'm going to be hanging out with them next weekend, but you'll be going on vacation, which is fine. That's no big deal. Whatever. I see how it is. I wish I was getting one of those this year, but
hey, listen, we went hard last year with drag and drive stuff. I at least owe it to them to go on a family vacation this year for sure.
Oh yeah. We've definitely had some. We've burned some candles at both ends for sure. Well, the show's not quite over yet. We got a few minutes left, and I want to talk about next week, dude. Listen, I'm glad these guests elected to go to next week, because it is going to be a huge episode. Like, there are only guests next week. This is going to be intense, y'all. So Brian and Jesse Havlick are going to be on the show from Havlick's Hot Rods by Havlick. They're going to be on, and y'all, we're talking about the fastest streetcar shootout that they're hosting. This is like the tribute race to what really started all of the drag and drive movement. This is what it was. This is going to be nuts. If you're not following the Havlicks. You need to be. This event is going to be crazy. Al Tucci is announcing. Adam Dory is announcing. Like the sponsor list itself is gigantic. Like absolutely gigantic. The racer list is even bigger, dude. Like
Yeah.
big time names, big racers,
A
big
lot of
people
people
who
coming
are-
out.
Oh man, cars that have been put away for 25 years are coming out
Right.
for the cars that are being built specifically or being rebuilt specifically for this race from all over the country. It's going to be nuts. And Jesse and Brian and I were messaging yesterday when kind of all this came about. So thank you to Carl. Big shout out to Carl at Hidden Motorsports for jumping on at the last minute there, because Brian and Jesse were like, listen, we've got an announcement that's going to be huge. It won't be ready in time, but for this week's show, but episode 74 of Drag Drive Repeat Show, you want to be there. You want to watch it live, and you want to be sharing it live, and you want to be in the midst, you want to be in the chat, you want to be in the conversation with that, because it's going to be gigantic. I mean, we're planning for an hour and a half with them. Like,
Yeah.
that's
And you know who else is going to be there?
who
We are.
that guy. I
We
know
are
that's right.
going to be there
Yeah.
for the event as well. So you're
Yeah.
coming up, and it's a pretty short drive for me. It's only 2.5 hours, but
Yeah.
yeah, we're going to be there, and I'm excited for this one. So this is the weekend after I get back from my family vacation. So I get to go, and
Yes.
I'm going to tune out for a week and enjoy a family vacation. And as soon as I come back, it's right back into it again, and we'll be heading over to Tri-State for the Hot Rods by Havlicks Fastest Car Shootout.
I think it's going to be really again, the momentum that Drag and Drive is gaining. This is going to take it just one more step. I think this is going to kind of supercharge the momentum we've seen lately, simply because of all the attention that it's getting, all the racers that are going to be there, and there is a ton of Drag and Drive racers that are racing in it. Big fast cars that are going to be involved in this, because it's a tribute race to what, again, the 90s and 2000s that kicked all of this stuff off.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, we did a whole section, I don't know, probably a year ago, about that podcast that talked all about that fastest streetcar shootout race.
Yep.
What
If
was
you
it, like
haven't listened
92
to
or
that,
something?
I was say, if you haven't listened to it, Brian Loans at the Dorkomotive podcast put together one of the greatest documentary style podcasts that I've ever listened to. Listened to it 3 or 4 different times, and reminded me. I think I'll listen to that again tomorrow. It's a great one. I would love to do that type of reporting and historical documentation for a lot of the stuff that we have going on. It's really amazing, and I can't wait for this event. It's going to be nuts. It's going to be nuts, and it's not a drag and drive that in the typical sense that we cover. So I think it's going to allow us so much more time at the track. We're getting there on Thursday or Friday. It's going to be a Friday, Saturday race. I mean, this is going to be a big deal.
Yeah, it's going to be a ton of fun. I'm excited.
Yep. Well, if you want to, man, lead us out. We'll get to work.
All right, guys, it's been a great night. Comments have been hopping. We've had tons of people in watching the show. So thank you, guys. Thank you to all of our race car friends in here making comments, sharing this. And also thanks to our sponsor, Summit Racing, Driven Racing Oil, Molly Motorsports, Car Change 3D, WAF Racing, Performer Built Transmission, Howard's Cams, Sweet Patina, Racing Junk, and our media partner, PowerTube TV. Guys, we will see you on the next episode.
Yep. All right, guys. See ya.
Guys, we will see you on the next episode.
Yep. All right, guys. See ya.
Like this show? Want more? Then head to WatchPTTV.com, the new 100% free PowerTube TV streaming network. Home of the best classic and new motorsports racing and build shows on the web.